And we begin now with that breaking news. Yum Brands just announced KFC's U.S. corporate headquarters is relocating from Louisville to Plano, Texas. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shay McAllister.
And I'm Doug Proffitt. This move impacts 100 employees here locally as they'll be moved out over the next 6 months. The company says it's an effort to foster greater collaboration among its brands already at the KFC and Pizza Hut global headquarters in Texas. Yum Brands and the KFC Foundation, will maintain their corporate offices in Louisville. The foundation will stay. On top of the 100 office jobs relocating, 90 remote positions will also make the move over the next 18 months. But it's another economic blow to our city, but also a jolt to the historic pride the state has had ever since Colonel Harlan Sanders created Kentucky Fried Chicken and the 11 herbs and spices in 1930. Mayor Craig Greenberg responding to the news this afternoon, saying he's disappointed with the move. Quote, especially since the brand was born here and is synonymous with Kentucky. He said he's asked to meet with the Yum CEO soon, and is heartened, though, that Yum will retain its corporate headquarters and 560 employees here. They will remain. The mayor adding he will work tirelessly with Yum's leadership to continue growing its presence here in Louisville.
Also tonight, winter weather alerts are out for a wide range of the WHAS11 viewing area.
Now, those winter storm warnings also keep in mind. Our chief meteorologist Ben Pine has just updated his view on the snow totals on the way. So Ben, when's all of this going to start for us?
Looks like after around 8-9 o'clock this evening, it's going to start to creep up from the southwest, become more widespread across the areas we approach midnight. Deteriorating road conditions as we head through the nighttime and especially tomorrow morning. So we do have a weather impact alert for tonight through tomorrow. Winter storm warning for Louisville now. Remember, this time yesterday, Louisville was in a winter weather advisory. So the winter storm warning has crept up to the north, basically one tier of counties. So from Louisville south in that darker color, that's where we're looking around 3 to 6 inches. Now with this light kind of fluffy snow, you can get some higher snow ratios sometimes at nighttime. That means we might be able to fluff it up even higher than that. I wouldn't be surprised if we get over 6 inches and some kind of thin bands here and there as well. Either way, the impacts are all the same for us. They get the snow. It's going to stick on contact immediately with how cold it's going to be, and we're going to have snow-covered roads out there. But since it's a light, fluffy snow, it'll be easy to shovel off the driveways and the sidewalks. Now, north of Louisville, under the winter weather advisory, looking around 1 to 3 inches of additional snowfall. The snow is starting to make its way over the Mississippi River into far western Kentucky as well. The heaviest snow currently over parts of Missouri, where they can see up to a foot of snowfall. So as we look ahead to the timing, notice we're dry here over the next few hours. Around 9 p.m. starting to see the initial snowflakes off to the southwest, and then the darker blue colors indicate some heavier snowfall rates. So we're talking about quickly snow-covered roads with temperatures in the teens overnight. That snow winding down, tapering off to the east right around sunrise or just after that. We get a break for a little while tomorrow afternoon, but then the very last batch of snowfall will move in tomorrow night. This is around 11 p.m. That could give us also some additional minor snowfall accumulations and some additional slick roads tomorrow night. Latest snowfall totals here with the data coming in around 1 to 3 inches in the advisory area north of Louisville. From Louisville south, around 3 to 6 inches. But again, there could be some thinner bands that give us even a little bit more snowfall than that. Temperatures out there now are very cold in the upper teens and 20s with wind chills down to around 12 in Elizabethtown and Hardinsburg. We are going to stay frozen for several days, but I'll show you when we'll eventually have a nice warm up coming up later in that 7-day forecast.
Ben, thank you very much. By the way, just ahead at 5:30, Mike Kochasik of the National Weather Service will be joining us for a live interview to talk about Kentucky's flooding. And today, Governor Andy Beshear delivered the bad news that 14 people have died due to the latest round of severe weather. The 2 latest fatalities happened right here in Metro Louisville. According to the governor, a man and a woman who appeared to be homeless died of hypothermia. The governor is urging everyone to be prepared for the snow and freezing temperatures on the way, especially this week. And if you do not have power or are unable to safely heat your home.
If you cannot safely power your home by the middle of today, you need to be looking at a shelter option because, again, it's damp out there. There's going to be a lot of snow, and you need to make sure you're safe.
Emergency workers in Kentucky will have warming shelters open to people to help them remain safe. The governor also announcing a new Team Kentucky fundraiser to help the families who have lost loved ones. If you'd like to help out, we've got a link to the Team Kentucky fundraiser for this severe weather round at WHAS11.com. Also today, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg giving an update on the city's efforts to address homelessness. Today, the mayor announcing a push to use funding to provide additional forms of support for homeless people. This would include substance abuse treatment, addiction prevention services for the youth, and court-mandated behavioral health treatment. One advocate for homeless people in Louisville talked about how similar programs helped her during her time of need.
I know these benefits firsthand because in the winter of 2021, I was one of these many unhoused individuals. It was on an extremely chilly day when the temperatures dropped well below the freezing point when I encountered my very first outreach specialist. She was kind to me. She offered hope.
These announcements coming after we saw the opening of the community care campus in Smoketown last November. Happening today, 2 flood walls going up in Louisville. MSD says it hasn't happened since 2017. The floodgates at 10th and 27th Streets are being sealed to prevent floodwaters from coming into the city.
Our Alexandra Goldberg and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton are on 10th Street and River Road for an update tonight on that 8-hour-long process. So, Alexandra, what's happening now behind you?
Doug Shea, yep, I'm here on 10th Street and River Road, and you could see that that flood wall behind me is standing strong. I'm going to take a step to the side just so you could get a full scale of this thing. You could see that those horizontal and vertical beams are supporting each other to make it so that Ohio River water can't come in and infiltrate into Louisville's metro. Now, despite these efforts, water is still impacting businesses and homes along the Ohio River, including one golf course in Shawnee that's already underwater. The Sky 11 drone capturing the Shawnee golf course, drenched in feet of floodwater. About 75% of the greens covered by the Ohio River.
We need power boats to go play the course instead of golf carts. We're on the driving range right now.
Steve Carroll says the water levels will only rise, leaving them with silt and mud on the course to clean up, expected to take weeks. We took a closer look at where the greens meet the floodwater.
Holes 3, 5, 4 is in the back, and part of 6 tees, which is completely underwater right now, as you can tell. And with 3 more feet coming up.
So we're headed to the back of the lot now?
Yes, back 9.
The Ohio spilling over, a scene he said is unusual, especially in February.
This is my first major flood. I had other floods in the past 3 years I've been here, but this is the highest I've seen so far.
On 10th Street and River Road, piece by piece, MSD is shutting the floodgates.
So first you have the vertical beams that have to go in, and then you have the horizontal portions of the wall that have to go in after that.
Tony Parrott says the wall at 10th Street and River Road is the first closure to shut, but it doesn't happen every year.
I think the last time we had to close this particular wall was probably back in like 2017.
The wall at 27th Street is also being sealed up with concrete slabs.
Our crews methodically put it together like Legos throughout the day. It's about an 8-hour job, and probably today with the weather, it's probably going to take a little bit longer than that.
Closing the city off to the brimming Ohio River, so the rest of the city doesn't have to face this overflow. We know that the flooding here on River Road has caused several road closures. We also know that this flood wall right behind me was the first to go up because we're here at the lowest elevation. If more flood waters were to, if water levels were to increase, then another flood wall at 2nd Street in Bingham would be next to go up. Live in downtown Louisville, Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS11 on your side, Doug Shea.
Alexandra, thank you. Don't forget to stay up to date on the next round of winter weather on the way starting this evening. Go ahead and download the free WHAS 11 app, and we will send updates straight to your cell phone.
More news now at 5 o'clock. A 4-year-old boy accidentally shot himself this morning, according to police. LMPD said officers were called to U of L's Southwest Hospital around 8 after a child arrived at the hospital with a gunshot wound. He was soon taken to Norton Children's Hospital for treatment. Police determined the original scene was off Mango Court. That boy is expected to recover. No word yet on any charges. And new information today after a deadly triple shooting in Shively. Police tell us tonight preliminary investigation shows this was not a random act of violence. It happened just after 5 last night inside the Williamsburg apartments on Crumbs Lane. That complex is right across the street from Butler High School. Police found 2 men and a woman with gunshot wounds dead at the scene. Their names have not yet been released.
Right here tonight, a Kentucky Republican wants to give Louisville's incorporated cities the ability to break off from JCPS and start their own school districts if they choose to do so.
But would those smaller cities even have the infrastructure for this kind of move? Isaiah Kim Martinez is talking to different Louisville neighborhoods. So Isaiah, what'd you learn today?
Well, Shay, Doug, bottom line, this is going to be complicated. Even the bill's sponsor told me that. But he tells me he wants to give these smaller cities the choice to split from a larger district if it means better student outcomes. It applies to the whole state, but it's no secret JCPS would be a primary focus. Do you think JCPS would be better off in smaller districts?
That's a tough question. I just worry that some of the schools in JCPS have gotten lost in the shuffle.
As threats of state takeover loom over Jefferson County Public Schools, notably from Kentucky Senate President Robert Stivers.
If you don't perform, you get taken over. There is that ability.
Republican State Representative James Tipton of Taylorsville is offering what he believes to be an alternative.
And there was discussion about the state coming in and mandating a split of the district. And I would much rather have the citizens at the local level make this decision than the state legislature come in and make a decision like that.
Tipton has filed a bill that, if passed, would create an avenue for incorporated cities to launch independent school districts, potentially separating from JCPS. Cities with at least 5,000 people would qualify, meaning for Louisville, it would include areas like Jeffersontown, Middletown, Shively, and Douglas Hills, with around 6,000 residents.
Probably JCPS is too large.
I sat down with Bonnie Jung, the mayor of Douglas Hills.
I will always be for cities and local control. However, something of that magnitude could not happen singularly in the city of Douglas Hills.
Jung applauds the effort to look at solutions, but says it'd be a tall task for the community she oversees.
And I cannot speak for any other city, but I honestly cannot see any of us taking on any kind of absorbing any kind of tax revenue or having to buy the bonds or it just wouldn't work.
If it became law, incorporated cities interested would then need a certain number of resident signatures on a petition to start the process.
It doesn't mandate anything. It doesn't force deconsolidation of school districts. It just gives citizens a voice.
In a statement, a JCPS spokesperson said, quote, "Research shows that creating independent school district doesn't improve student outcomes and could lead to higher tax rates. However, we're glad the bill allows citizens to vote on this issue instead of letting politicians in Frankfort decide to split JCPS." This bill still has a long way to go, starting in a House committee. It would need to get a hearing, something that didn't happen when Tipton filed this back in 2024. The mayor of St. Matthews also told me over the phone today it would just cost too much for them. Shay.